We're back with the Friendship Podcast, and I apologize for not having another banger guest on here. The past couple episodes have been extremely fun to record. Um, Maybe this one will be fun. Back talking with the three idiots. I'm not going to do too much talking today. Woke up pretty damn sick, puked my balls off this morning to the point where Kaylee and both my dogs were both quite concerned. Just feeling quite under the weather today, so I'm going to let these other two Jamocha shakes go at it, and maybe I'll chime in here and there. Go ahead,
You're
fellas.
sick, buddy?
Sick again, dude.
Dude, we got to figure it out, man.
The desert's got me, bro.
I don't know.
What do you got out there? Like that's Rocky Mountain fever out there?
There was some virus that absolutely decimated the valley over the past month, and I got it the first time, real bad respiratory, and then this morning I woke up just world spinning, and I got up, like almost fell down, and then just went to the door real quick, dropped to my hands and knees, and just started puking all over the patio. So that's where we're at this morning. It's kind of carried me through the day.
Sounds horrible. When I got COVID, I was right in the middle of marathon prep, and I tried to go on a run the day that I kind of like accepted that I had it. I was like, yeah, I'm still good. And I almost I got scared. I was so out of breath. I could not breathe. So when the sickness hits, when you're down with the sickness, it's really not something to fuck with. So, Kev, how you doing? You been swimming lately?
Yeah, man. I've actually kind of come to really enjoy swimming.
Really?
Yeah, it kind of sucked at first, but kind of started getting a little bit of groove here. So yeah, I swim once a week. Nice long. I do usually around a mile each time.
Half hour?
Yeah, I broke 30 minutes one time.
You were moving, huh? You had them fins going.
Yeah, it's usually around 32 minutes, but one day I was feeling all right. I just barely broke 30 minutes. Now, you compare that to someone like Katie Ledecky, who I think does it in like 15 minutes or something like that. Ain't that much, but
she can swim a mile in 15 minutes.
I think she does half a mile, and I don't know. She has like the top 30 times ever recorded in the world for like
Drake. Can you chime in on your swimming knowledge and give us like legit, Gary? Find world record mile time.
Katie Ledecky is so much more incredible than Michael Phelps at her certain, like she's so much better than Mike at her expertise. Like as an all-around swimmer, Mike was better because he could win in a lot of different disciplines.
At everything, yeah.
But in long distance freestyle, Katie Ledecky is she's like potentially the greatest athlete of all time when it comes to her
specialty.
I mean, that's just insane, dude. 15 minutes.
Do you know how
can't run that?
No, hey, there's people who can't. That's what I'm saying. There's people who cannot move on their feet on dry land a mile in 15 minutes, 8 seconds.
Yeah, but you know, I didn't have swimming lessons as a kid, so I'm proud of my half hour.
You didn't take any swimming lessons?
Never, no.
Oh, dude, I love swimming lessons.
No, they just tossed me in the pool. They figured I'd probably figure it out.
Sink or swim, baby.
Exactly.
True. No one gives a shit, but I'm going to say it anyway. We're going to talk about some unbelievable events that happened this past weekend. Mostly one. The girls won the Big Ten Championship, and not really unbelievable because we have a squad who is now ranked second in the nation. By the way,
you're gonna be a number one seed. Is the NCAA championship coming through Iowa City? Maybe.
From what I see, I think
there's
one
four
seed,
number one seeds. If we're the number 2 team in the country, how could we?
I know, but there's politics and there's. From what I see, I don't think it's gonna happen.
But so women's tournament, the high seed hosts the first 2 games, correct?
Yes. So the regional in the women's tournament becomes the top 16 seeds overall. So they're a lock. Iowa City is going to get a quad, like a quad, and they're going to host a round of 64 and a round of 32. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Sweet 16, then they start going to other.
And I don't know, Gary could probably pull up the locations for the women's because I think our Discord was talking about where we would potentially end up as far as the women in the Sweet 16. Because if there's a year for them to do it, okay, here we go. So we've got.
Is this official?
No, because
Yeah,
they're still.
When's the women's bracket coming out?
I have no idea.
Gotta be soon, right?
Do they both happen on the Sunday or maybe not? This has Iowa City as a 2 seed with St. Louis, Alabama, and South Florida, all coming to Iowa City as well. And it does not show where. It doesn't show where you would go. Try and find the Sweet 16 locations women's bracket. What I was going to insert there, by the way, is I was almost, the CrossFit Open just finished up. I was almost 666th in the United States in the CrossFit Open.
What were you?
For you?
664th. So could have had some real.
So we moving on?
Yeah. The top 10% move on to the next, and I was just outside the top 1%. So we'll be moving on to quarters. Quarters will happen not this upcoming weekend. Yeah, you're going to hear this on Thursday. Not this weekend, but a week from today when this comes out. And I will be doing those workouts in St. Petersburg, Florida for the first 2 days. And then I'll come home and do the last one in town here because we'll be on vacation. So not ideal. We're going to be traveling.
But I hope that heat doesn't get to you.
You go from working out in the garage, 42 degrees, a little breezy, to that Florida weather. I mean, hopefully we can catch a light day because I might be sucking wind down there. DeMarco moving on as well. Cole Fisher moving on as well. Shout out to the boys. Here we go. So we have. Is there just two? Is there only 2 regionals? Am I seeing that right? Or is there? So Greenville Regional and Seattle Regional for the girls here. And then the Final 4 is in Dallas. All right. Does that make sense to you guys? That there's only 2 regionals?
Does not make sense to me, no.
You would think there'd be 4, right? And then 4,
Yeah.
The Sweet 16 would be split into 4 groups of 4.
Yeah.
I don't know. I only saw.
Trying my best. I don't know. That's what ESPN said.
God damn it. God damn it, Gary. Greensville and Seattle. Those are not close to Iowa, unfortunately. Son of a bitch. Dallas, a 10-hour drive as well. So if you can go watch the women, I would go watch them. They have an absolute squad. Caitlin dropped a triple-double in a thrashing of Ohio State this weekend in the Big Ten Championship game. They made that look like an exhibition game against the Buckeyes, who are a pretty damn good women's basketball team, like relative to the field. And held off Maryland in the semis. Forget who they beat that might have been the first game because they got a double bye. Caitlin's unreal. We'll get to her in a second because if she doesn't win national,
there's no
player
reason that they can't make a run all the way, right? Like, there's no one
South
in the
Carolina
country they can't beat. Right?
Well, that's the question. South Carolina is really fucking good. They are undefeated. Every other team, like Iowa's number 2, go to number 3. I think we've got like Notre Dame, Indiana, Stanford, or some of these other teams. I think every other team has at least 3 losses this year, and South Carolina has none. So, I don't know if they're able to be beat, but in theory, every other team.
They've had a few close games here and there.
Have they?
They went to overtime versus Ole Miss.
Okay.
They only beat UConn by 4.
right.
10-point game versus Georgia.
So they're beatable.
They're beatable.
And here
7-point game versus Mississippi State.
they're only beatable by one of the other top teams. There is women's basketball is interesting. There's a crazy drop off when you get to like outside the top 10 even. Like the 20th best women's basketball team in the country is like levels worse than the 8th best team in the country. Whereas the men's game, you probably got like 30 or 40 teams deep, especially this year, that can all just win games any day. And there's some factors of each game that goes into that and why that is.
Okay. South Carolina's first game of the year. I'm giving you the spread of minus 68. Do you think they covered?
Who'd they play?
East Tennessee State University.
Jesus Christ.
Because
Because you
they beat them by 69.
They beat them by 70, 101 to 31.
Oh my God. I think Iowa had a couple of those. I mean, Iowa was up on Ohio State at halftime by 37.
Wow.
It was either 35 or 37. It was 61 to 24. It was.
I like beating Ohio State by a lot. It's fun.
Me too.
We should
I
do
agree.
it more often.
It's hard to do. Hard to do, but it's when you do it, it's nice. Sonano, one of the best posts in the game right now. Crafty. Unbelievable at positioning. Finds her spot. Is a favorite target of Caitlin, who is an unbelievable passer, which kind of gets overlooked because of how much she scores. But Caitlin is averaging something like 8 or 9 assists a game as well. And if Gabby Marshall does what she does from the 3-point line, especially like she did against Maryland, and Kate Martin is out there kind of being a coach on the floor, and Stolke gets involved, and Warnock hits a couple shots. I mean, this is a squad. And we talked about it last year. They all were coming back. They've got it clicking at the end of the season right now. They just won the Big Ten for the 2nd year in a row. 3rd time in a row that they've been there. Caitlin had a stone cold quote. They asked her, like, you've been here 3 times in a row. What is it? What do you think when you come back to the Big Ten championship? And she's just like, it's all I know. It's all I know.
I like that.
Really, really fun to watch what they've done for what they've literally done for the sport of basketball. It's a little bit absurd. I believe they just set a attendance record for the Big Ten championship game, women's Big Ten championship game yesterday in Minneapolis at like 9,500. Every stadium that they've gone to this entire year.
Carver does better than that by itself.
Carver sells out, 15 or 16, something like that. And Indiana game, they sold that out. Still a couple others out this year. When they go on the road, there is an average attendance boost of like 2,500 or 3,000 people because people are coming to watch them from the other states. And Caitlin specifically. Let's not shy away from that. It's largely her. It's unbelievable. And to answer your question, Kev, it's hard to be, especially in girls basketball where the variance is not as high. It is going to be hard to knock off that team. But theoretically, if they get placed on the other side of the bracket, as far as left to right, where they don't have to meet them in the Final Four, there's no reason why we shouldn't expect an Elite 8 probably with what they're capable of. And not that it's easy, right? And then from there, it's like, if we play our game, we could certainly see. It's hard to do, man. The NCAA tournament is one of the most impossible things to go win, but this team has the talent to find itself in the Natty, which would be. Do we go?
Where's that? I
It's
think
in
we gotta at
Dallas.
least consider it, right?
It's in Dallas.
When is it?
Gary, pull that page back up. Women's National Championship. Like if the Hawks are in a national championship, you gotta go, right?
You gotta at least consider it, right?
You gotta at least think about it, huh? I mean, girls basketball is at that level. That would be lit. Walk-ons might have to pull out some funds. Send the boys down to Dallas.
By the
Gary,
time we go to Dallas, we go to Nashville and shit, we'll be broke.
Hey, we're not here to just bank coin. We're here to use it.
Drake, I thought you were fully intent on running this operation into the ground.
Yeah.
I'm in. Unfortunately, I'm out on the Big Ten championship or the national championship game because I will be somewhere in the Pacific Northwest in a van.
You belong
It
in a van.
is. Wait, what day was it on?
April 2nd.
Oh, fuck me. Well, this is a good time to plug the Keith Duncan kicking camp that'll be happening April 2nd in Iowa City. If you're a kicker, punter, or long snapper on the east side of the state or potentially Illinois, Chicago, maybe southern Wisconsin, come out. Visit KeithDuncanKicking.com and come get that work. So I'm out too, which means Kevin's probably out. He's not going to just show up to the...
Grant, you want to go with me?
I will gladly represent the podcast at the American Airlines Center.
Hey,
You'll be able to hear me on TV.
We'll have I could send equipment with Gary or Kev, and we could just have Kev and Gary pods from Dallas.
And there's going to be a long expense report of tacos from down there.
Wow. You guys are going to go out to eat how many times?
Well, you got to eat at least 5 times a day, right?
A lot of barbecue there too. We can't leave that out.
Yeah, that's right. You got to get the Tex-Mex.
Wow. You guys are going to bankrupt us, huh? And I know how Kevin eats too. And he doesn't just eat. He's getting drinks.
Got to have a cocktail, right?
So
and
guess
then
what?
on top of that, he's going to be generous with the tip because it ain't his money.
Right.
It
I mean,
is
kind
my
of
money.
is.
I'm going to fight
Kind
you
of
back
is.
on that. A third of it's my money.
Well,
A third of a half, really, because a half of it is like the business money. Then a half gets split into a third.
And what do you know it? By the time Kevin and Gary try to enter the whatever arena that was that Gary just mentioned, the
They
tickets,
can't even afford nachos
there's
at
not
the
even-
bar.
There's not even beer money left on the card because Kevin spent it all at the most expensive steakhouses in Dallas, Texas.
Make for great content. I think we should do it.
Well, I mean, and
We
we
just turn
honestly
this
we could
operation into a restaurant review operation. And then
Absolutely.
We just spend all
I-
our money on food and review it. Do you think we still? Yeah.
I think we could probably work that into the Patreon somehow. Like do a food review show on the Patreon.
Yeah.
Gary did get denied access to a media pass from the walk-ons or underneath the walk-ons umbrella, which is, I don't know if it was a time thing or if they just didn't recognize his name. His name didn't have as much pull as mine did when I applied for the Kentucky Bowl game this 2 years ago. But if we send Kev and Gary down to Dallas, we might be able to get a little media pass, get you guys on the court, get some good seats.
Maybe get an autograph. That'd be cool.
I think you can get an autograph. I mean, I hope so.
Yeah. Never want to assume. But yeah, I think the girls have a great shot at making quite a run at it. So the gentlemen Hawkeyes,
Up and down.
I don't know what to make out of them.
I don't know. I don't either. They just lost to Nebraska for not the first, but the second time this year. And Nebraska is on the bottom half of the Big Ten, which is
Nebraska is the 11th seed going into the tourney.
right. Not only that, but for those who follow semi-closely the stats and the oddity of how the Big Ten has played out this year, Iowa's record against the top half of the Big Ten is like damn near perfect in conference. Whereas their record against the bottom half, which is like Wisconsin, Penn State, Nebraska, maybe one other team, they're like horrible against them. So that kind of extrapolated itself out into a situation where like 8 teams were fighting for the 2 seed in the Big Ten tournament. And
ultimately, the fucking nerds got it.
Yeah, and Northwestern ends up with the 2 seed, Purdue with the 1, Iowa slumps away a double bye, which is so important late in the season when you're tired and you have to play multiple days in a row. So they are now going to have to play the winner of like Wisconsin, Ohio State.
Yep.
And if they win that game, they go to play Michigan State. If they win that game, they have to play Purdue. And then if they win that game, they have to play probably Northwestern or I don't know, Indiana maybe or something like that. So
yeah,
winning the Big Ten tournament for the boys, maybe as it probably not expected, but it just got a whole lot harder if they want to make a run, which is going to end up starting, I think, today as you're listening to this. I believe it starts Thursday.
Wednesday, I think it's the first.
Okay,
game.
so it already started.
Yeah, the first 2 games are on Wednesday, I believe.
Here's the deal: the boys have if they shoot threes, they can play. If they knock down some jumpers, they can play. And that's so cliche in basketball, right? Well, if we just make threes. But they went in and had several great games this year. Beat the brakes off Indiana in Indiana, like last week.
Yeah, beat the ever-living piss out of them, too.
Number 15 team in the country at the time. So I have no idea. I
don't know what to expect. You know what? If you have no expectations, you can't get hurt, right?
That sounded so emotional. Hey, man, if you got no expectations,
they can't hurt you anymore.
They can't come after you. What do you guys think about this narrative of like so Fran's big hang up as a coach in Iowa or at Iowa has been like that they can't get to the Sweet 16. Does it fucking matter if you get to the Sweet 16 but lose? Like I guess I don't see.
Oh yeah,
it's probably like getting to the Sweet 16 is like in the football world what getting to a January bowl used to be, right?
Sure.
Like we can't expect everyone to be in the national title every year, or
right.
know.
I guess you have to. I mean, you have to use some metric.
You can't win a Sweet 16 game if you don't get there.
Right, and I get that, and I guess you just the idea is like, well, we would prefer our team gets as far as they can every year.
We would prefer to not lose to a subpar team in the round of 32.
Well, last year against Richmond was that was bad.
Previous year versus Oregon wasn't great.
It got stomped out by Oregon. I know. People call for Fran's head similar to they call for Kirk's head, and I don't have the statistics like I do for KF in the squad to back up the basketball team, but I think Fran just passed or is going to pass the most wins in program history for coach in Iowa history. Maybe it was Big Ten wins. He's had them in the tournament like a fair amount of years. And I don't know, just seems like I don't know what the marker of success and what you base your because you guys know when the tournament comes around, shit starts happening and people start getting upset and like people play with nothing to lose. And it's like, okay, do we really base it off of, it's just weird to me. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think you should at the very least be looking for a tournament berth every year, right?
100%. Yeah, I would agree. I think a tournament berth, although it's actually not even close because there's like 40 bowl games. So almost 2/3 of the teams. Bowl games are so fucking useless in a way.
It's not quite 2/3, but it's over half now.
80 out of 129 or 131.
Is it 80 now?
Well, it's 40 bowl games.
Oh, Jesus.
So in basketball, 68 teams make it, and I think there's 360, so about 1/6 of the teams. So you're looking at 16% or something like that of the teams out there make the tournament. So yeah, I would say if
we also got to take into account like 100 of those teams, their only way in is to win their conference and get the
I know.
automatic.
Yeah.
So
You got like Chattanooga.
I feel like Iona is a 15 seed every fucking year.
It's locked, dude. They're locked.
Don't hate on Chattanooga, bro. The city of Chattanooga, pretty sweet.
Yeah?
Yeah, dude.
Were you close when you lived there?
No, so Chattanooga is super far east, and it's also south. So it's actually really weird how it's set up. You go through Georgia. It says now entering Georgia, and then it says now entering Tennessee on the same interstate. You go from Tennessee to Georgia, back to Tennessee, through Chattanooga, back to Georgia on the same interstate. You don't even turn. You just keep going straight.
Well,
sounds like someone was drunk when they drew the border.
I mean, it's out in the old East, where this is southeastern Tennessee. They didn't know what they were doing. They were just all boozed up out there, drawing lines and shit.
They still might not know what they're doing down there. I don't know.
But yeah, Chattanooga, really cool mountain town.
Like the Florida Gulf Coast just shows up at the 13 seed, and you're just like, well, we're fucked. We got Florida Gulf Coast. They're gonna go Dunk City on us. I don't know. I think it's weird. Obviously the guys are. We don't do expectations around here for basketball. I don't know what the expectations were. I think at one point, this team, Iowa, was a team that people kind of questioned if we would make the tournament, and then they kind of, after an 0-3 start in Big Ten play, started balling and kind of played themselves in. Now I don't know.
At one point, like a few weeks ago, we're like, oh, they were projected to be like a 5 seed or something like that.
They were playing so well and winning so many games in a row that they were like onto the 6 line, I think, in some projections. Then you lose. It's it's every game.
Yeah, now they're probably going to be looking at like I imagine they'll win whoever they end up playing, but you would hope.
I saw 8-9, but potentially, are they gonna? Do they have shot at a 7?
It's tough because if you win that first game, guess what? You get a 1 seed.
Yeah, you would really prefer a 7 seed over a. I mean, you would almost rather just like if you're going to be in that conversation, let's just fucking lose and get a 10 seed. If you're not going to get a 7,
okay, make me a 12 seed. Yeah,
give me the 12-5 because like 12s win more than 5s do, or some crazy shit like that.
No, but it's like very close.
So I don't know. I truly believe that they actually have what it takes, dude. When Perkins is going off, and you got Sanford and Chris Murray and the McCaffreys, when they're sniping, boys are athletic. Boys can score. We've never been a great defensive team, and who needs it when you can score 110 points, right? Totally opposite of what we say about the football team. I don't know. If you're banking on the girls or the guys getting further, I don't think that that's a hard place to figure out where you should put your money. Let's just put it that way. Let's talk quickly before we finish with some wrestling. The baseball team is out there doing some shit now. I mean, we beat LSU. I don't know how many other great teams we've played. Again, I don't follow closely, but every once in a while I see a baseball tweet retweeted. I think we're something like 8-1, 9-1. Brody Brecht is talking shit to people. And we're ranked in the poll number 23. I know there's a shitload of baseball teams out there. So you're ranked number 23. You're doing something right. So shout out to the boys.
Yeah, it's mostly non-conference play right now. And
yeah.
They'll get into conference play here in a little bit, and that's when we'll start to see them a little bit more. I think, yeah, they had that one like tournament down south where that's where they played LSU or something.
Yep.
And I think it's mostly like kind of smaller schools until conference play rolls around.
Okay. I know this.
So yeah, we just beat Pepperdine, which those rich
feel like-
fuckers.
What do you think the tuition for Pepperdine is?
Oh, it's very expensive. I know someone who went there.
Of course you do. From Homer Glen?
No.
Fucking liar. Can I get Pepperdine tuition, Grant? Oh, pretty cheap.
Yeah, they said they had friends there that just on the regular just take. Hey, you guys want to get in my dad's private jet? Go to Cabo for the weekend?
What? And it sits. What is it? It just sits on this hill.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
yeah, Malibu, California. Yeah,
Oh, dude. Why didn't I go to Pepperdine?
That's a really expensive piece of real estate right there.
Incredibly. Dude, I should have gone to Pep. I should. They don't have a football
I
team.
do not believe they have a football team.
I probably could have figured out something to do there. Or you got to be smart too, huh?
I think if you have enough money, they just kind of let you.
They just only care about money.
I don't know.
Well, Clover, you actually probably would have had to go to school there, which would have been a big issue for you.
That would have been tough for you.
Would have been an issue at a lot of places. Could have been an issue at Iowa if I tested it any further than I did. Nonetheless, I didn't have $59,000 a year. My family would have had to rob a lot of banks, not just one, to come up with $59,000 a year. God damn.
Don't
You can
forget
always
about
get
room and
student
board
loans,
after
right?
that.
That's true. That was just tuition costs. Definitely would have had to start an OnlyFans.
Nobody would have bought an OnlyFans with your stubby dick on it.
I do feet. So the boys are, so what I've heard is the College World Series is one of the cooler events to go to. I've heard that's a blast.
I heard, I heard it's a bucket list item.
And I'm not even a baseball guy, but I feel like that would be fun to go to.
I feel like there's a lot of events out there. It's like, it doesn't matter if you're a fan of the sport, but if you're just a sports fan in general, like there's things that you got to go to. Like,
I really want to go to a UFC event. Like
I think
Can
that'd be
confirm
cool.
they're sweet.
They're so sweet.
Watched a lot of title fights now in person, and it's pretty sweet. Between Bellator and UFC, they're pretty sweet.
I need it.
Yeah, like something like that. Kentucky Derby. You don't have to know the first thing about horse racing, but I heard it's just electric.
I could see you there in the hats, the get up. I could see you.
Oh, you
dressing
gotta do the whole get up, right?
I mean, you're laying a fat bet down on a couple of them ponies too.
Absolutely. We're
Get
swinging
Yonker.
for the fences. We're
Get
trying
Yonker to go with you. Yonker would hit up the Kentucky Derby.
I might make it my bachelor party. I don't know.
Holy shit!
Kentucky
Are you
Derby?
Serious?
I think it'd be electric time.
I mean, hey, you name it, I'll be there.
That would be pretty. That would be pretty crazy, Kev. If you pulled that one off, that would be sweet.
I mean, it's just one day. It's like I feel like some people are doing like 3, 4, 5 day trips for their bachelor parties now.
I have seen it. I've seen it. Speaking of UFC, kind of, not really. Bo Nickel fought this last weekend.
That is definitely speaking of UFC
and Big Ten wrestling, because he was pretty good at that.
Decent.
Some would say the best.
2-time Hodge. That's right up there with the best ever.
Did Spencer win that twice?
Yeah, he's gonna win it a third time this year.
Well, good for him. He's a Big Ten champ, by the way.
Duh.
Although, kind of just fucked around in his championship match. It kind of seemed like he was.
Dude, that's what you get when you're that much better than everybody. You're allowed to just fuck around.
Like he just kind of went out there, won 8-2, and was just like, yeah. They interview him after the match, and he's like, I got a lot of work to do. Do you think he doesn't have enough fun? He's so goddamn serious about it. Like it's almost like, man, are you gonna look back and wish that you enjoyed it a little more?
I mean, probably. I'm sure he has fun, but
He didn't look like he was having fun when he won.
I don't know. Were you guys ever on a team that just beat the shit out of people all the time? It's like
Well, I went to Marshalltown, so not really. No.
Okay. Like
yes,
grade
but it
school,
was
I
my
know,
swim team.
Yeah, like Drake's swim team, like, a grade school basketball team, baseball team, whatever.
Sure.
When you're just always beating up on people and you just expect to win, it makes it's not quite as exciting, right?
But if it's if you make it to the champ, at some point it's
That's the thing, though. For Spencer, a Big Ten championship is just another
It's
match.
expected.
He's a back-to-back-to-back national champ. Like,
I know, and I just like,
dude, he
Yeah.
went out and toyed around in a national championship match with no ACLs.
I know.
And one going away. Dude, this
doesn't
stuff
make
isn't
any-
hard for him anymore. This is,
Do you think that to be the best in the world, because he's in that?
dude, he's an Olympic champion caliber wrestler
Yeah.
who is wrestling in college.
So sick that his mom was like elite at judo. By the way,
Very hard sport.
you look at the guys like Kobe, Mamba mentality, Jordan, Tom, Federer, Messi. Does there have to be some crazy level of just like you're a little bit there's something wrong with you, like you're a little numb to because there's the greats all have that, like they're a little off, and I know wrestlers are different breeds already. Like even the average wrestler is like, you don't want to fuck with that guy. He's just like, it just is what it is. But you look at that and you're like, man, is that what it takes to be that good? Is you just can't have fun? Like you're just thinking about it.
I think he's just not being challenged, right?
I understand that. Wild to me that the number 2 seed, this Cronin kid from Nebraska, who is like really good. Spencer's wrestled him 5 times, pinned him 3 of them. He won the other one like 15-1, and then he beat him 8-2 in the championship this weekend. Like, and he's the second best guy in the Big Ten. That's wild.
Which is the best wrestling conference. Undisputed best wrestling conference.
Oh, it's not even close. Yeah.
It's hard to fathom the levels ahead of the other people that Spencer is. It doesn't even make sense. And so maybe at that point you're right. Maybe you're just like, fuck. Like, I just can't wait to get to the Olympics. Or I don't know.
Spencer is another one that's very similar to Katie Ledecky in that he's not the best ever by that wide of a margin, but in college he's Katie Ledecky dominant, which is kind of like, he's never going to be touched no matter what college 125er you put in front of him. They're just not going to touch him.
Yeah, the thing about Katie Ledecky, though, is if you're going against the clock, you can always compete against yourself. Spencer can only wrestle the competition that's in front of him, right?
Yeah, you can only win.
If he's not being challenged, this should be like a universally known thing to any competitor out there. Is like, if you're not being challenged, it's not as much fun, right? And that's probably what you're seeing, Clover.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that is
like you have to be challenged by a goal worthy of you, right? And I'm not saying winning Big Ten championships isn't a great goal.
That's what makes it crazy to me.
That is top 1% of 1% right there. But Spencer is beyond top 1% of 1%.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Fucking
He's going down in the history books as one of the greatest college wrestlers of all time.
Yeah, no doubt. Woods was national champ, or not national champ, but Big Ten champ as well. At the 140 weight classes. 141. And then how else did we do? I know we got second. We kind of touched on that. Just had a lot of guys not make the finals or something like that. And
so let's see. We had Patrick Kennedy at 165. He lost. Honestly, a really good tournament for him though, getting second place.
Is he a dog?
He wrestled a tough match in the finals too. He was overmatched, but he still wrestled a good match.
Yeah. So he ended up backfilling Marinelli's weight class pretty well this year.
Yeah, I'd say.
Let's see what else. We had Murin get third. Cass got third. Dude, Paris and Kirk, I can't say the fucking
Kirkfleet.
Kirkfleet. they've gotten Paris has always been good, but Kirk Fleet's really fucking good.
Who won that heavyweight match? That's where I turned it off.
Paris.
Did he?
I think I'm almost positive.
So we got second in team, and that is like kind of in a similar way. It's like,
we can't touch Penn State.
We had some guys that really underperformed though.
Penn State took 6 to the finals, won 5.
It's a lot. It's good.
And if Max Dean, who was one of their most reliable, if he wins his match, they tie for the most individual champs in a tournament in Big Ten history.
6 out of 10.
So like that's where they're at right now as a program.
That's
And they might have the second most dominant wrestler in the whole country. Spencer's first, but RBY might be second.
I fucking hate watching that guy wrestle.
And then
isn't
there's
he
like
the one
Aaron
that just
Brooks,
like backs away all the time?
He's a dancer.
Yeah, he's a dancer.
Fucking.
He fights, or he wrestles a lot like Floyd Mayweather fought. He's a counter wrestler with amazing feet.
So he's just waiting for you to fuck up, and then he.
Well, he's just baiting you into it, kind of like Floyd did. His defense and then secondary offense off of that is so much better than your initial offense that he just kind of baits you the way he wants you to go, and then bam, he's back underneath you on a counter shot and behind you before you even know what you're doing.
It's annoying. Probably annoying if you're
like he wrestled DeSanto with one hand because he knew DeSanto loved that.
He loved grabbing
that
the
arm
ropes,
control, that tricep control that DeSanto loved. So he just wrestled him like a speed skater with one hand behind his back.
Yeah, we need to see if we can get DeSanto on the podcast.
I'd love to talk to Austin DeSanto. Big fan.
The clips of him are electric.
He's kind of a hothead in the same way I'm a hothead. In the same way Kevin's a hothead. Kevin controls a little better, but
yeah. I get that from the clips. It seems like he had a little spitball to him.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta have at least one screw loose to be a wrestler.
Very much so.
Fuck, I mean, a lot.
Especially under the Brands brothers.
They should set up. They should set up a swarm event to go through, to have the Brands brothers take a bunch of people who are willing to like take them through like a workout. Like
he'd take every single one of them to their absolute breaking point where everybody failed. They would beat everybody to failure.
Run the stairs in Carver, like.
There better be EMTs everywhere.
Yeah, literally, people would die.
Good. Sign a waiver and let's make this money. I bet people would sign up. I'd sign up. Hell yeah.
That's
by the way, Kevin's like, yeah, I'm in. I want to die. I actually have something to. This is totally non-relevant to the podcast, but there's another opportunity for us to work with some NIL stuff that I was approached with this past weekend. Are
you gonna tell us or
not on here but I just wanted to mention it.
Fine.
Yeah. Fuck everybody listen. We're just having a conversation now. Was there anything else? Anything else? This will be the last time that I talk to you guys in like 2 weeks. Because Gary's going on a 7-day bender for his 21st. And I'm going down to St. Pete, Florida for a little spring break. And
I'm going out to the desert this week.
You are?
I am.
My desert?
A little bit north of your desert.
Vegas? Really?
Yeah.
You taking a big old purse with you?
I'll have a few coins in my pocket.
You got some coins? Did you
What's
sue
the
the university and get a payout?
No, but I should have. I didn't think about it.
Dude, you should have sued the
Did
university. No, but I heard they're handing out bags.
For nothing.
Man.
I heard they're handing out bags just to make people quiet.
It's crazy.
I didn't get as much playing time as I like. Could I have?
I asked Coach Ferentz to be on kickoff team multiple times, and he told me no, and that hurt my feelings. So, how long are you in Vegas? 2-3 days?
2 days.
All right. Well, if you're in, wait, I'm not gonna dox you. If you're in Vegas this weekend, maybe see Kev.
By the time this one drops, I'm already back in Iowa.
Oh, okay. Just kidding. Well, that was 401. Drake teased in the beginning that this one wasn't going to be as fun as the last couple. And you guys haven't heard one of those two. George, hope you enjoyed George. It was doing numbies all over Twitter today, especially when he retweets it. That's always a nice little pop. And the other one, well, let's just say, give it about 12 years, and we might have another candidate for governor in the in the state of Iowa. And Captain Jack is a good conversation. We'll just leave it at that.
Legendary human.
You guys will hear that on not Monday, but the Monday following. Until then, enjoy your spring break. Be responsible.
Peace.
Gary, if I don't see a Snapchat of you with 21 pictures in front of you, we'll be disappointed.
Yeah. Hawks by 1,000,000. Everybody have a fantastic little week. Peace.